I'm afraid I've got some bad news.
I knew it. I love when he does that.
Wrestling has more than one royal family.
Adrenaline in my soul, something, something, Cody Rhodes. I'm the tribal chief around here. Yeah, you see me, the tribal chief. That's right.
Time. But let me go ahead and tell you.
Shut your bitch ass up.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 479 of the Hoots Podcast. Here is your surely the nefarious brother Adam, a.k.a. Joshie Lopez. It's Friday, August 22nd, 2025. We're just about a little over 5 months left here for the podcast at Hoots. Getting down to this final stretch here. We got, after today, the countdown goes from 21 to 20, so we're getting there, folks. I am Joshie. You can hit me up on Twitter if you like, at the Hoots Podcast. I'm on Instagram at Josh Lopez Music. Please do me a favor, if you guys are checking this out on YouTube, make sure to hit the like button and smash that subscribe button. Right now, we're over 560 subscribers. I appreciate all the new subscribers that we've been noticing on the YouTube front, which has been very nice to see. So make sure to, if you check out the podcast, just make sure to smash the subscribe button. You can follow us and or subscribe to us at the Hoots Podcast on YouTube. It's really easy to find. And also, if you can, please check out my work in the results section of WrestlingHeadlines.com, as I cover every single televised event for WWE, including corresponding PLEs and stuff for the main roster and NXT. Unlike this weekend, though, I got a busy weekend ahead. Coming up on Sunday, I'll be doing AEW's Forbidden Door pay-per-view for the O2 Arena in London. We'll be discussing that in just a couple of minutes. Also, we'll get into your questions for this week's edition of the Back Porch Q&A session. But coming up on Sunday, I have Forbidden Door and NXT Heatwave to do for you guys. So I'll be doing that on WrestlingHeadlines.com. Of course, we got SmackDown today in Dublin, Ireland. Coming up Monday, there's Raw during the day in Birmingham, England. And then we got Clash in Paris coming up a week from this Sunday. So, a lot of shows coming up, and it's been a very, very busy month, but I ain't going to complain because I'm in really good spirits and I'm really excited for what's the next couple of months and stuff are going to look like. There's already 3 PLEs that I'm going to be doing in September with Worlds Collide in Vegas on September 12th. We got NXT No Mercy taking place in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And, of course, we got the first WWE PLE streaming on the new ESPN DTC app called WrestlePalooza, which is going to be in Indianapolis on September 20th. I actually bought the bundle for the ESPN Unlimited thing that's going to be airing these PLEs now. So I guess the deal with it, if you guys are living under a rock, WWE signed a new deal, which is going to be like $325 million a year, to have their PLEs exclusively aired on ESPN's new streaming platform. But the NXT shows and like Saturday Night Main Event or anything else that comes around the horizon, that will remain on the Peacock until the deal ends in 2026. So I have to keep that. But looking through this whole thing yesterday, that's the first thing I did yesterday. As we were just recording, I went through the process to see what tier I wanted to get and stuff like that. Because not only you get the PLEs, but with this new unlimited thing, you could possibly get NFL Red Zone and stuff like that. So I wanted to get that. But in this bundle, it came with Disney Plus and Hulu, which I thought was really cool. This is an expense that I need because this is my job. If this was something where I was not covering the industry every day and stuff like that, I wouldn't pay for it. So, $30. I mean, look, everybody's in different situations. I'm not going to come and look down on you and be like, oh, it's not really that big of a deal to pay $30 for a stream platform. Everybody's in different situations, and I respect that. I had to get this bundle because it's part of my job. So, yeah, $30 compared to the $16 I pay each month for Peacock. Yeah, it's a little bit of a bump in the raise, but with the expenses that I do pay, it's not the end of the world for myself. I'm just speaking for myself. So I had to get it, and I'm glad I did. I mean, it's a pretty cool platform that I'm using so far, and again, I'm excited to see what comes with it when it comes to like NFL Red Zone and all this other stuff with the PLEs, and then we got WrestlePalooza, which is going to be on around the horizon, and if anybody's telling you that WWE is not mainstream or it's not a hot product right now, I don't know what else to tell you. Business, action, word of mouth, whether good or bad, the product's hot, man. And there's gonna be a lot of people who do shows like this. They like to tell you otherwise. They tell you that the sky is falling and yada yada yada, a bunch of cockamamie bullshit that you hear on all these generic wrestling podcasts. But the business is good, and it's in a good spot right now, especially for WWE. I'm also very excited to cover this Forbidden Door show. I'm probably going to buy it on Amazon Prime on Sunday. I think that's the way I'm going to go about it. I think it's kind of a cool deal that you can get pay-per-views from AEW on Amazon Prime. I think that's great. I think that's great for their brand. So that's pretty cool. So I'll do that. I guess we'll look into the card in just a couple of seconds, but I just have a lot of stuff running through my mind. Obviously, this has been a very long month, but it's also been rewarding in a lot of ways too. I just got my check again for the other day, not the other day, but a few days ago for the podcast, and so I want to give a big shout out to the folks at Odyssey. They're our new home for the Hoots Podcast here, and once we get past episode 500, like I said, I'm not done podcasting. We're just going to be moving away from wrestling talk, and I might change the name of things. But as we move forward here towards the end of the chapter that is the Hoots Podcast, I'm just really excited to continue on here because I really worked so hard to get back to this point where we can make money again for the podcast. So if we could say if I have in a month I made like $500 from the podcast, that means a lot to me, and it does help out a lot with what I'm doing and where I'm at in my life. I'm not married. I don't have any kids. That's not really on my priority list at this current juncture. I mean, I just turned 31 like 3 months ago, so my mind right now is solely based on getting back to the number part that I was telling you guys about, money-wise, and we're very, very close. We are really, really close, and I'm just really excited to get back to looking at apartments again and start elevating this move to the next level. In my heart, and what I want is to get out of Chicago as soon as I can. If that means we could get out before Thanksgiving, or the end of October, that'd be awesome. If it's beginning December, I'm open to that too. If it's the end of the year, I'm fine with that too. But we're getting very close, and this next couple months are going to be very busy, like I said, and we're just going to make the best out of it. That's all I can do. October will probably be busy too. We got the takeover show in Crown Jewel in Australia. Pretty sure there'll be an NXT Halloween Havoc show that I'll have to do as well. So the train keeps on running, man. And when there's more wrestling shows and when the business is hot like this, that's a good thing for me. It's a good thing for the site that I work for, and it's really helping me get back on track with everything, and it's just a personal thing for me to get back on track for the situation that I was in. Not only just to get back on track money-wise, but also in the sense of getting my confidence back. And then once I hit the number that I want, we can start going back into looking into apartments and shit and just get this train on the road, because it's it's time to leave Chicago, man. It really is. I'm way past the wit's end of being in this city, so just trying to keep my head up and control what I can control, and just enjoy each day that I have in front of me. And I thank you all for supporting this podcast along the way. It does mean a lot. So before we get to this week in WWE, and then we'll get into your questions for the Q&A this week, I do want to mention I made a little tease on the podcast last week that I was going to have Matt McCool on this week. Probably falsely prematurely projected that he was going to be on the pod this week. He's not, so I apologize in advance for that. But we're going to try to do it next week because he's out in New York this weekend with his family. But I am in communication with Matt, and we've been catching up recently. And he's in good spirits, and I want to get him back on the podcast as soon as possible. So whenever that comes, whether it's next week's episode or the week after that, we will have a little pipe bomb reunion on the podcast there, which should be nice. And we're going to talk about a lot of stuff, and some stuff non-wrestling related too. So looking forward to that. But like I said, before we get to the wrestling discussion on the WWE side, I do want to go a little over a bit of the cards that I'll be covering this weekend. You can guys, as always, check out my play-by-play articles in the results section of WrestlingHeadlines.com and or ProWrestlingTranscriptions.com. So here we go. For Forbidden Door, we'll go through this in this order. Okada. Should I do this as excrement? It's a lot of matches here, man. 9 matches. This could be a long show. Yeah, that's why not. Coming to you live from the O2 Arena in London, England. It's time for AEW's Forbidden Door. Here's your matches. First, it's a triple threat elimination match for the AEW World Tag Team Championships. It's the Hurt Syndicate taking on Bro Dito and FTR. Next, the singles match for the AEW Women World Championship. It's Timeless Tony Storm taking on Ring of Honor Women's World Championship Athena. Next, we have a lights out steel cage match featuring the Golden Lovers, Darby Allin, Hiroshi Tanahashi, and Will Ospreay taking on the Death Riders and the Young Bucks and Game Kid. Next, for the AEW Unified World Championship, it's Kazuchika Okada against Swerve Strickland. Next, a fatal 4-way match for the AEW TBS Championship. It's Mercedes Moné taking on Alex Windsor, Persephone, and Bozilla. And coming up next for that, we have the AEW TNT Championship match featuring Kyle Fletcher and Hiromu Takahashi. This match made official last week on Collision. It's for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. It's Zack Sabre Jr. taking on Nigel McGuinness. Next, the match also made this prior week on Dynamite. It's Adam Copeland and Christian Cage taking on the team of Kip Sabian and Killswitch of the Patriarchy. And our main event for the AEW World Championship, it's Hangman Adam Page taking on Maxwell Jacob Freeman. If Hangman gets counted out or disqualified, he will lose the AEW World Championship. Make sure to follow Tony Khan for more information at Tony Khan and get your tickets right now at AWTIX.com. TIX.com. Repeat, that's AWTIX.com. Then coming later that night, it's NXT Heatwave for live from the Lowell. Hold on, let me make sure I get this arena right first. Lowell Memorial Auditorium. Okay, all right. Later on that night, we have the 2025 edition of the NXT Heatwave live for the Lowell Memorial Auditorium in Lowell, Massachusetts. Here's your matches. First, we have Hank and Tate putting their NXT Tag Team titles on the line against Dark State. We have a triple threat match for the TNA Knockouts World Championship as JC Jane defends against Masha Slamovich. JC Jane against Master Slamovich and Ash by Elegance. Next, we have a mixed tag team match featuring Chelsea Green and Ethan Page taking on the team of Tavion Heights and Tyra May Steele. From there, we have a special grudge match featuring Jordan Grace against Blake Monroe. Next, we have a triple threat match to determine the number one contender for the NXT Championship. It's Jada Parker against Kalani Jordan and Lola Vice. And our main event for the NXT Championship, it's Oba Femi against Javon Evans. Alright, so those are the matches for both of those cards coming up this weekend. So that's going to be on Sunday. That's going to be an all-day typing day. So I'm looking forward to it. A lot of international programming coming up. Like, we got tonight for SmackDown's in Dublin, Ireland. We have the Forbidden Door show in London. The NXT shows back in the U.S. In Lowell, Mass, in Boston, New England area. And then we got Raw is in Birmingham. Then we go to Paris on that Sunday for next week. That's going to be awesome. So a lot of international shows on the horizon to cover. And that's pretty much it for our monologue this week. But like I said, I'm just excited to get this month over with. It's been kind of a long month and a busy month, but I'm also excited for the way because I'm just ready to get my next check. And, you know, we're getting so close. I'd probably say I'm like a month and a half away from hitting the number that I wanted to hit in my bank account. So we're getting really close, and I'm just ready to just get this train on the road. So when we come back, we'll get to what happened this week in WWE, and then I'll answer your questions for this week's edition of the Back Porch Q&A session right here on episode 479 of the Hoots Podcast as the road to episode 500 continues. We'll be right back in just a bit. Yeet. Welcome back, everybody. Time to talk about what happened this week in WWE. We got Clash in Paris coming up a week from Sunday. Excited for that show. We got a couple of match announcements made already. We've got the Tribal Chief Roman Reigns taking on the Tribal Thief Bronson Reed, which just pops me. That stuff's hilarious. What did Paul Heyman say on Raw this week? The master of the Shoonami, the owner of the Shulafala. Oh my god! I mean, that's a pretty cool moment for Bronson, man. That's gonna be awesome. But if anything, even with that match, that could be something where that could be like an undecisive finish, and that turns into possibly a rematch at Crown Jewel in Australia in October, or I don't know, maybe they do something at WrestlePalooza. I don't know if Roman's going to be in much on programming in September because of the fact that he has that Street Fighter movie coming up, so you could hold that off towards Crown Jewel. If anything, when it comes to this WrestlePalooza show, I wouldn't be surprised if this is just straight up CM Punk and Seth Rollins. We finally get that one-on-one match for the World Heavyweight Championship, and maybe they could go separate ways. Maybe, I don't know if anyone has brought this up yet. What if it's something where you could bring CM Punk over to SmackDown in a trade in a way? Like, what if you could do that? What if Punk goes to SmackDown, or there's some scenario type of match where they have Punk and Rollins at WrestlePalooza, and if Punk loses, he has to leave Raw. Just something like that. Because I've been wrapping my mind about this, and maybe this is probably more of my fantasy booking ideas stuff, and things that I've been kind of projecting and forecasting in my mind as far as WrestleMania 42 is concerned. And I'm like, if you're going to do Punk and Cody, and I'm totally down for that. This has been brewed for months and months and months and months. You could do that. You could have Punk and Cody. But that's also the other thing, too. Okay, let's say, Punk is, as he said in his interview with First Take this week, he's in the Seth Rollins vortex. Okay, let's say Punk wins the Royal Rumble, and then he goes after Cody. You could do something like that. But I'm just thinking more, I like to be more in the present moment. I think too many times we try to be oh, this happened, so that's going to lead to this, that's going to lead to that, and it's going to lead to this, and it's just we're working each other's, we work ourselves as podcasters into too many shoots, and then we deflect that and project it onto the company because it didn't align with what we had in our head. that's not how this stuff goes. And then, I've been more focusing on my transcripts and everything, I've really come to realize and appreciate the fact that the only feedback that actually matters in wrestling these days is the audience that's in that building that night. Social media, shows like this, etc., it's futile, it's a waste of energy, and there's really no substance and nuance to the conversations that come from the feedback and the reviews of these type of shows. And I'm being honest with this. You know, I'm on my way out of this space of at least the audio side. I'm exiting this space of talking about wrestling, and I'm making the right choice because this field is just littered with content that has no substance and nuance to it. There's a lack of authenticity to it, and it's just there. It's like, okay, let me press the record button, regurgitate everything you hear on a Wrestling Observer show or Fightful, and etc., and it's like a circle jerk of people saying the same shit over and over and over and over again. So, yeah, sorry for that little rant there. You know, we had a couple other stuff popped up through a program this week that just caught my eye. Once again, shocker, Nia Jax wants another match with Tiffany Stratton. That's like saying the water is wet. You know, if they're going to keep, you know, just handing Nia title shots because they can't figure out what the hell to do with the SmackDown Women's Division, at least make it interesting to the point where you say, like, hey, you know, Nia gave a call to the final boss. Have that be her shtick. Lean into it. You know, she has the final boss on speed dial. Doesn't matter that she's lost her last two previous last chance opportunities at a championship. Here she is. She just randomly pops up on SmackDown last week. You know, Jade Cargill wants another title shot, even though she lost cleanly at SummerSlam. So I don't know why she's entitled to a title shot. That division in SmackDown is like kind of going in shambles right now. I mean, it's cool that Alexa Bliss and Charlotte are the tag team champions, but as far as like what's going on with the women's championship with Tiffany, her title reign's been kind of cascading down in ways like the week-to-week programming. She's just there. She doesn't have in-ring talking segments. She's finding the same people all the time, and you can't decide whether she's a heel or a face. And then, you know, like, I don't want to shit on her title reign. I think she's a great performer. She's great to look at. She's awesome in the ring. I've been a fan of her since her beginning stage at NXT 2.0, and she's amazing, and she's still young, you know, and I'm a big fan of Tiffany Stratton. I want to make that perfectly clear. It just sucks that people will shit on her title reign because of all this ancillary bullshit, and it's just like, her match is still delivered on the big stage. I like the match she had with Jade Cargill at SummerSlam. I like the match she had with Trish Stratus at Evolution. You know, some people kind of crapped on the match that she had with Charlotte at WrestleMania. I agree to disagree. I love the physicality of that match. You know, it was a real fight. They had a real personal issue going into that show, and it was a fight. It didn't have to be Steamboat and Flair, pun intended. You know what I mean? So, I want to get that out of the way. We got Aleister Black taking on R-Truth tonight on SmackDown. We got the MFTs taking on the Street Profits. We got Carmelo Hayes and Miz taking on the Mercy Machine Guns. Is this the day where Carmelo Hayes finally turns on the Miz? Because something's got to give, man. This Melo Do Miz thing is not going to last as long. It's not working, and it's Miz is leeching onto Carmelo to keep any type of relevancy on the television show, and Miz is like, he's not doing it in the best interest of Melo. He's doing it in the best interest of himself. It's the obvious story that's being told here. So we'll see what happens with that. Charlotte is taking on Piper Niven tonight. We got John Cena in the house. It's in Dublin. By the way, congratulations to Logan Paul on his wedding. Him and Nina, they just got married last week, I believe, in Italy. So props to Logan on that front. I think that's pretty awesome. And we got John Cena and Logan Paul in London. Not London, in France for Clash of Paris. That's coming up soon. we have the 4-way for the World Heavyweight Championship with CM Punk, Seth Rollins, LA Knight, and Jey Uso. That's going to be an awesome match. They had just announced Sheamus and Rusev this past Monday night. A good old-fashioned Donnybrook match. We might get Becky Lynch and Nikki Bella for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. So that could be possibly happening as well. And we got a lot of good stuff on the horizon here. I'm just very excited to see where things go from here. And, yeah, man, it's some good shit, if you know what I mean. Jellybean. So, I want to give a couple shout-outs to some of the matches that I covered this week. Not only from Raw and SmackDown, but also NXT, you know. Also, by the way, if you guys haven't seen Evolve, go on your way to check it out. It's a good show. They had a really good tag match this week with Swipe Right taking on Aaron Work and Marcus Mathers. It was like a WWE ID showcase tag team match. It was very good. Also, Kylie Ray and Chantel Monroe was a good match as well. NXT was awesome this week. They're at the Met in Philly. Javon Evans and Trick Williams was the main event. It was the number one contenders match for that NXT Championship. Javon will now be taking on Open Femi for the title and Heatwave this Sunday. Thanks to the fact that Trick Williams got distracted by Mike Santana right as he was loading up for that last trick shot. We had Ricky Saints and Jasper Torrey, very physical match. The street fight, the Philly street fight with Josh Briggs and Inamura, I thought was fantastic. All in all, a pretty solid show from top to bottom from NXT. On Raw, we had the Jey Uso and Braun Breaker Extreme Rules match, which had sheer anarchy and chaos with Punk and Night L out there. Roman Reigns came out and was causing pure and other chaos. I covered Triple Mania for the first time this past weekend. That was a lot of fun, so I got to do that. My transcript is up there on WrestlingHeadlines.com if you want to see that as well. Other things that stood out from Raw this past Monday in Philly. Of course, the Heyman promo in Philly is always good. The stuff that you're saying about the ECW legends was insane. How you could go in there and be like, oh, I hope Tommy Dreamer died. Like, what? Io Sky and Raquel Rodriguez, that was fine. Very solid match between both ladies. Rhea Ripley will be taking on Roxanne Perez this Monday night on Raw in Birmingham. Let's see what else here. Penta and Xavier Woods, fine for what it was. Judgment Day against Dragon Lee and Mr. Iguana. I thought that was a fun match as well. By the way, I'd be remiss without sending our thoughts and congratulations out to Jimmy Uso and Naomi on the announcement of their pregnancy. Naomi is pregnant as we're recording, and I want to give a big shout out to Trent and John for their big news, man. It was really nice to see. I love the way they went about the announcement and the segment itself with Naomi's promo. She's fantastic, and you know, I know for her, probably in the inside, kind of, it's like the timing, maybe it's not what she wanted because she was really about to go on a major run as a women's world champion. But this year alone, I think she's definitely been one of the best female wrestlers in the world. So to, you know, have a good grudge feud going into a WrestleMania and then being one of the standout characters in the women's division, to winning Money in the Bank, to winning the championship at Evolution, to retain at SummerSlam, to be one of the marquee players again for the female women's division, and now she's pregnant. Like, 2025 is a hell of a year for Naomi, and yes, we all know the joke is right there. Jimmy Uso did not proceed with caution, so I thought that was cool. So all in all, that's some quick, brief thoughts, summarizing things that stood out to me from programming this week. Before we get to the Q&A session, I want to play this clip from Logan Paul's Impulsive podcast for this week. And this is going to be a part here where he talks about John Cena. So let's play this. Right over here. Here we go.
Here now.
I love you. I'm glad you and everyone can make it. I think personally, I'm definitely peaking in life. I'm peaking right now. It's a peak. I'm cool with saying it.
Don't hear that, Triple H.
I'm peaking in my personal life. In my career, I think I still got to become WWE champion. Shit, John Cena, August 31st in Paris, brother. I'm gonna dethrone you. Watch out, big bro. It was very cool to tag team with John Cena, but to beat John Cena, now that's a checklist. That's something to have on your resume.
It was a good move for you to partner up with him. Friends close, enemies closer.
Yeah,
that was all.
No, when I partnered with him, I genuinely was like, bro, it's John Cena. I was ecstatic. But then it's like there was it appeared that there was a bit of like an ego clash, which like is kind of predictable. And let's be honest, like I know you're John Cena. Mad respect. Wow, you've done great things, bro. I'm Logan Paul.
The most humble wrestler in the WWE.
Extremely humble.
The most humble.
May I say. May I say, extremely humble. So, whether he or the WWE fans like it or not, or will admit it or not, I will force them to put respect on my name. John Cena is the greatest of all time.
Was.
For now. I intend to be the greatest of all time, if not one of the greatest of all time. So I want my name thrown in the hat. A way to do that is to go toe-to-toe with John Cena in every facet of wrestling. That's on the mic. That's in the ring. That's even backstage, interacting with people. Like, there's a real thing when it comes to being a locker room leader. Like, the guy who leads the company, is the face of the company, is respectful to everyone in the crew, to everyone who helps make this well-oiled machine work. And John Cena has been that guy for 20, 25 years. And I fully believe I have the capacity to do all of that. And so I've taken my notes. I've learned from him. He's the master. And I got to tag team with him and learn from him. But now I'm going to use the things he's taught me to beat his fucking ass in front of everyone in Paris. And the fact that I get to wrestle him in France,
easy,
in front of the entire world, in my 4th year as an outsider, go fuck yourself. I'm not an outsider. I belong here, and I intend to show everyone that in Paris on August 31st at Clash in Paris. We'll see what happens. I'm going to go enjoy my wedding, guys. Thank you. Thank you for...
All right. Clip right there from Logan Paul's Impulsive Podcast, so check it out on his YouTube channel. All right, guys, when we get back, we'll get to the main event segment, which is the Back Porch Q&A session right here on episode 479 of the Hoots Podcast. We'll be right back. Yeet. All right, guys, one more segment to do here on the podcast. Hoots, how to answer your questions for this week's edition of the Back Porch Q&A session right here on the Hoots Podcast. By the way, for those who don't know, the Back Porch name for this segment is inspired by my childhood and where I usually grew up on Superior Street in Chicago. At my grandfather's house, he has a particular back porch that he always lounges and hangs out there and shoots the shit there. So, I always wanted to treat the show in a way where, like, I'm sitting next to you and we're just talking about life and stuff about wrestling. That's kind of the hope I had, like, the vibe that I wanted to present with this show with you guys over the years. And, the inspiration for that is just, like, the candor, the verbal just vibe and good tones and stuff that we had when I was doing the show with Adam Daly at the beginning of the show. It's just like people and brothers just hanging out and just talking shit and having real conversations and not having a filter. And a lot of those happened on my grandpa's back porch. They literally have a sign called the back porch. That's where this inspiration for this segment comes from. So I appreciate anybody that ever participates in this segment. The Back Porch Q&A segment is always one of my favorites to do here on the podcast. And so if you want to participate in the Back Porch Q&A session, all you have to do is hit me up on Twitter at the Hoots Podcast or the Hoots Podcast at gmail.com. All right, do it. All right, let's do it. Throw over the X for the good brother Chris Zaletta at Xteam Zaletta 24X on the Twitter machine. Let's see what Chris has for us this week. Chris asked us, here you go. Don't forget, it's Xteam Zaletta 24X on the Twitter machine. He says, "What up, Boost? Here's some questions for the Q&A this week. There's a couple in here that had to do with Matt. He thought that Matt was going to be on this week's episode. So I apologize in advance, Chris, for the fact that Matt's not on this episode this week. Hopefully soon. You know what, Chris, what I'll do is when we do record that episode with Matt, I'll make sure to add these questions to that Q&A segment that we do. So I appreciate you sending these out. Thoughts on Ace Austin joining AEW? A shame, to be honest with you. The guy's going to be lost in the shuffle, probably be stuck in a trio with Top Flight or something, and I don't know, they'll do a feud with him and Ricochet on Collision, or he'll be part of the Bang Bang Club. Hey man, to each his own. If that's what he wanted to do, I think that's leaving money on the table, and he could have done some real good shit in NXT. That's all I'm going to say about it. Which match are you looking forward to the most for Heatwave? Jordan Grace and Blake Monroe. Very easy. That match for me is the one I'm looking forward to the most. Favorite match from Triple Mania? Good question. Triple Mania for me, my favorite one was between... well, I did like the Messias and El Hijo, the Dr. Wagner Jr. one. I thought that was pretty cool. The street fight with Los Garza against Pagano and Psycho Clown was really good as well. But for me, the best match for me was the main event, was the four-way, which was Vikingo, Dominic Mysterio, El Grande Americano, and Dragon Lee. That was the best match of the show for sure. So I'm going to go with the main event. Thoughts on their fans booing Vikingo? Mexican culture is very different than U.S. They have different outlooks on things, and they wanted Alberto El Patron to be the champion, and he's not, and that gets into that whole cancel culture thing. For me, it sucks because I think Vikingo is a great performer. It's just a situation of circumstance, so they're going to take it out of Vikingo because the fact that Patron can't be on WWE programming without another weeks-long worth of fake woke outrage about stuff about people in their life. You know, people make mistakes, and I'm not clamoring to see Alberto Del Rio on my TV screen. What he did to Paige was fucking unacceptable. I don't condone domestic violence and anything like that. I don't. So if I don't have to see that guy on my TV screen, I don't have to see him on my TV screen, you know. But when it comes to AAA, I don't think that should prevent him to doing his job, you know. So it's a tricky situation, and we'll have to figure that out. Which match do you think will steal the show at Forbidden Door? That's a good question. There's a couple, man. I think that the sucks. I think like a match, if you look at Kyle Fletcher and Hiromu Takahashi, right? Like that match would be awesome on a New Japan card, but on this it'll probably be lost in the shuffle because it's gonna be like a 4 or 5 hour pay-per-view, and it's just gonna be there. So, you know, there's other options. I'll say the Tony Storm Athena match could possibly steal it. Okada and Swerve, that's another good option there as well. So those are the ones off the top of my head. It sure as hell ain't going to be that freaking Mud Show lights out steel cage match. Thoughts on Sammy and LA Knight's trade swamp? Good for both brands. Do you think there's any kind of issue with the extra women's titles around? No, I don't think so. Because it's gonna get back to the point where like, you're not using your women enough. Why don't you give them opportunities instead of the 3 same people going for the same Women's World Championship? I don't think it's an issue. Those women's divisions do deserve an IC title and a US title, and they need to do a lot more with the Women's United States Championship, that's for sure. But I don't think there's an issue with extra women's titles. Last question here. Has Adam Pearce earned a spot in the Hall of Fame with not only his multiple years of great work behind the scenes, but his on-screen work over the last 5 years or more coming? Oh, absolutely. For sure. I don't think Adam Pearce gets enough credit. That's another guy that I would love to have an interview with, like a guy just to shoot the shit and pick his brain on things. If I had a chance to like meet Adam Pearce and have a conversation with him on the podcast, that would be awesome. Because I have a lot of respect for him, and I think he doesn't get enough respect from my colleagues amongst this space. And I think I heard Dave LaGreca the other day, I busted open, say that Adam Pearce is one of the worst general managers of all time. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Did you see Mike Adamle? Did you see Big Johnny? Worst managers of general managers of all time. All right, pal. Whatever's. I'm not gonna have what you're smoking, and plus, I don't smoke anyway. I'm straight edge. So, on that note, we're gonna put a ribbon on the bow for this week's edition of the podcast at Hoots. I want to thank Chris for the awesome questions this week. As always, make sure to hit him up on X at XTeamZaletta24X on the Twitter machine. As always, you can send yours truly a question at the Hoots Podcast or the Hoots Podcast at gmail.com. Make sure to hit me up on Instagram at Josh Lopez Music. All my play-by-play transcripts this weekend will be in the results section of WrestlingHeadlines.com and or ProWrestlingTranscriptions.com. If you're on YouTube, please make sure to do us a big favor. Give us your predictions down below in the comment section for Forbidden Door and NXT Heatwave. I'd love to hear back from you guys. And not only comment down below in the comment section, but also please help us out with the subscriptions. If we could get to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, that would help us become a YouTube partner. And that would really help out matters as well. So make sure to hit us up on the YouTubes at the Hoots Podcast and subscribe there. Don't forget, as always, folks, be the authentic product that is yourself. And remember, nobody dictates the pace of your life but yourself and the man upstairs. I love you all. I'm Joshie. This has been episode 479 of the Hoots Podcast. As the road to episode 500 continues, we go from 21 down to 20. Episode 480 is next week. Hopefully, sometime in the coming weeks or so, we'll have Matt McCool on the podcast, and I'll keep you updated as to when that's going to happen. And we'll hopefully get some more guests as we get to our final 20 episodes here of the podcast. I love each and every single one of you. Have a wonderful weekend. Enjoy Forbidden Door and NXT Heatwave. And I'll be here to recap it next week and also get you ready for Clash in Paris. I'm Joshie. This has been the Hoots Podcast. We'll talk to y'all next week. Yeet.
Bye-bye, bitch.